Hello, everyone, and welcome into your weekend card reading. This is for the weekend of February 3rd and 4th, so we're going to take a look at what messages God, Spirit, the Divine has in store for you and what you need to know for this weekend. So it'll be similar to the daily readings where I'll pull a few cards at the beginning for the overall energy, and then I'll go through each of the sign groupings. But then at the end of each sign grouping, I'll pull a couple cards for what you don't see coming, and that'll be specific to each of the three zodiac signs within that grouping. So in the description box below, you'll see the little timestamps that you can click on and go straight into your specific grouping. So let's jump in and see what messages want to come through for you for this weekend. All right. And we will start with the overall energy for the collective. We have Nine of Wands, we have the Tower in reverse, and we have the World. So taking a look at this, your Nine of Wands energy, this is going to be kind of some of that persistence and resilience. So you're really working at a situation. So there's something that you've had on your plate for a while, and you kind of just keep pushing through it. With the Tower in reverse, though, this is avoiding making a change. This is that energy of trying to keep things from unfolding, trying to live in the past. And so this has been actually kind of consistent with the overall energy for the daily pulls that I've been doing, where it's that kind of stuck in indecision. So similar to that, like you've been working at something and it's almost like you're so focused on it that you're maybe not seeing the fact that things are supposed to change. So we also have the World card, and the World is that energy of kind of a cycle coming to completion. So this is card number 21 of the Major Arcana. So that's the very last card in the Major Arcana. And usually that's that card kind of symbolizing victory, but it's also symbolizing like that some cycle has come full circle. So that's the overall energy. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at each of the groupings. And so for today, we're going to start with our air signs. So that's going to be our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And let's see what specific messages want to come through for you. And then I'll draw a couple cards which you don't see coming for each individual sign. All right. So for air signs, we have the Hierophant. And so the Hierophant is that kind of structured, traditional type of energy. So conventional thinking, kind of teacher, guru type of thinking. And that could be part of what's keeping you working so hard, is that you're trying to create a traditional type of structure or keep a traditional structure intact in your life. But it could be that maybe the lesson is that you need to be letting it go. So let's see. This was the card that flipped as I was saying that, is look at the bigger picture. So if you're really, really fixated on this is the problem, this is what I need to look at, it could be for you that you really need to be thinking outside of the box. You need to be thinking bigger picture, not just that one specific thing. I'll pull a card though, since that was a jumper card. Luck is on your side. And with this one, there is a sense of, things have a certain rhythm to it. Things in your life are supposed to play out in a certain way. And don't be so fixated on working hard, trying to prop up this structure. And actually, I love it because in this deck, the Tower is a Jello mold. And so it's kind of the whole thing of if it's time for the Jello to topple over, you really need to just let it go, because you're not going to be able to prop up this Jello tower forever. Oh, and this card was wanting to jump. And this one says loss, grief, sadness, and resurrection. And let me pull a card as well. Yin Yang, creating harmony through balance. So the two of those go. Even with loss, there is something for you to learn. There's something to be growing from. And the final one on that, so it's grief and sadness, but then the final of the three words is resurrection. So there's something better on the other side. Usually it takes losing something, but having that faith, that trust that the universe has something better that's coming in for you. But sometimes you have to make room for it. You can't, if you're wanting the job of your dreams and this amazing thing, you can't be still stuck in and committed to this dead end job that's not going anywhere, that leaves you drained and unfulfilled. Like you have to let that go in order to make room for something better. All right, then your crystal card here is Saint Germain frankincense. Elevate, awaken, and transform. So that is your overall message, is about elevating and transforming. And so that goes along with this Lost card, and the resurrection part is that transformation. So even as you're pairing all of this together, the interesting thing, I'll see if I can hold all these up. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here for a while, you know that I look at the color palettes and look at how strong all of these go together. So all of these messages are intertwined in terms of, look at the bigger picture. Like let something fall apart and look at the opportunity to rebuild. How do you rebuild it better, stronger, faster? And let it transform and let it elevate you to the next highest timeline. Okay, so that was the general reading for air signs. Now I'm going to take a look at the individual signs, and I'll pull a couple cards for what you maybe don't see coming. And we'll start with Gemini. 2 cards for what you don't see coming. Knight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So our Knight of Swords energy, this is like opportunity, a little bit of impulsivity, like, yeah, let's just go for it. So it's kind of the bad boy on the bike. Yeah, let's just go for it. But then you also have what you don't see coming is this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So that's a little bit about maybe some bad timing or some missed opportunities, misfortune, delays. So a little bit of that energy, if you're too impulsive, and I guess that's what you don't see coming, is you might be in this energy of, yeah, let's just go for it. Let's just do something. But you could start running into some delays. You could start running into some issues. Because overall, the energy is a little bit of that persistence, but it seems like it's the feeling or the message that you've been treading water, trying to prop up a certain scenario for so long that you kind of reach that point of, yeah, let's just do it. Come on, let's be done. I don't want to keep working on this. And so then you're doing something impulsive, but it's going to cause some bad luck or some setbacks or delays. So don't be too hasty. Don't go from one extreme all the way over to the other. You need to find wherever your middle ground is. So a little bit more reflection and meditation maybe this weekend for you Geminis. And then, since I hadn't started on the next one yet, Libra is next. So Libra, what is it that you don't see coming for this weekend? We have Justice, and we have the 5 of Cups in reverse. So there is a sense of justice and kind of turning a corner and moving on. And, you've been trying so hard to prop up a scenario that you really should kind of let things play out the way they're supposed to, and have the confidence that if you let it play out the way you're supposed to, you're going to get the justice part, and you're going to be able to move on. And so that is finding that balance, this yin and yang, finding that balance between being an active participant in your life. You can't just sit back on the couch the whole time and say, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. Like, you do have to be involved in your life and in the world, but also finding that balance between how much effort are you putting into a certain situation? Are you overdoing it because you're afraid of what might be on the other side? So for you, definitely luck is on your side. Justice is coming through, and you'll have that sense of moving on from the struggle that you're faced with right now. And that'll give you a sense of elevating and transforming. All right. And last of the air signs, we have Aquarius. So let's see. Oh, 8 of Pentacles. And then since that one jumped, these were the 2 that I pulled. Page of Swords, and Three of Cups in reverse. So your Page of Swords energy is kind of this like planning, curious energy. Your Eight of Pentacles is that hard-working energy. With your Three of Cups, there's a little bit of like overindulgence though, or reclusiveness. So it could be that you're planning and you're putting in the hard work, but you're also kind of detaching yourself, like, so you're off on your own doing your own thing. So there is some of that, like, that if you're too, and since that's in the what you don't see coming, and it sometimes has an air of loneliness about it, is if you are too fixated on the planning and putting in the work, it's kind of going along with this, right? That you're putting in all this, you know, since this is that persistence and resilience, you're putting in all this work to keep this tower from falling. And so then you're planning and you're still putting in the hard work. I think that's going to lead you down the path of loneliness and kind of feeling like you're this recluse, like you're just all on your own. And so that's kind of that sense of, okay, find that balance. And if it's, you know, if it's supposed to be a loss, like that this tower is supposed to go away, let it go away. But find that balance. Like, don't pour like all of yourself into it, because I think it's going to lead you to a place of loneliness. So those were the messages for the air signs and the individual signs within that. So now let's move on to our fire signs and see what wants to come through for you. Alrighty, fire signs. That's going to be our Aries, Leo, Sag. So for you, we have the Tower. So, so this message is that this Tower is coming through. So overall energy is that the collective is trying to help keep things from falling, but for fire signs, it looks like things are coming, I would say coming apart around you, but it definitely has a sense of something drastic is happening and changing in your life. And let's take a look and see what that is. And there is a natural element to a new start is coming. How beautiful. So this one is new moon. I'm trying to remember when the next new moon is. I think we had one. I think we had new moon in Aquarius. Or no, that one I think maybe is coming in. I think new moon in Aquarius is coming in. So that, from a timing standpoint, that would be pretty soon. Let me check my notes, because I believe, yes, it's on the 9th. There's an Aquarius new moon. And that Aquarius energy, that's about, so that one is definitely a sense of getting started on a beneficial change. So putting these together, you've been trying to keep something from falling apart. But if you stop working so hard at trying to keep it from falling apart, let that cycle end, because after this Tower, you have this new start coming in, and this is on the 9th. The new moon in Aquarius is on the 9th, so that's just right around the corner. But in order for the new start to come in, the Tower has to happen first. All right, let's see what message is coming through from Gaia. Flame Tree. The start of something new. So there you go. You have two of them, the start of something new, and all of that on the heels of, you know, you've got your World card, which is the finishing up of one cycle, and something new is coming. So let's pull a card here. Yeah, I have to shuffle it this way because the deck is a little too big for my hands that way. All right. Then we have Abalone, Neptune, Gold, Platinum, Magical, Freedom, and Ceremony. So this freedom is definitely coming with this new start. So the Tower that's coming through is something, it's freeing you up. Like you felt trapped in whatever that structure was. So immediately when I first started pulling these cards, what was the first thought that was coming to your mind? What was the first situation that popped in there and said, oh, okay, this is probably what this is about? And anytime you're doing tarot readings like this, the idea is that it's getting you to connect with your intuition. So if something's resonating with you, if you hear something that I'm saying and it's like, oh yeah, it's because it resonates with you, and that's your intuition saying, yes, listen to this message. This is what I want you to hear. This is what I want you to, to get for today. So there's a freedom that comes along with letting this tower happen. Alrighty, let's see. So now we will go through sign by sign, and we will start with Aries. What is it that you don't see coming, Aries? The Six of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Wands. So our Six of Swords in reverse is there's this feeling of being stuck in a rut and resistance to positive change. And so this, you're resisting it, and maybe you're not admitting to yourself that you're resisting it, but you are. This is this Nine of Wands, this perseverance. Oh, I have to keep at it. I have to keep at it. I have to keep at it. I have to keep this tower from falling. So you're resisting positive change because you're viewing this tower as something catastrophic, something, I will say life-altering, but life-altering is probably correct. But it's not a bad thing. Like if you're here to learn lessons, here on this planet to learn lessons, in this incarnation to learn lessons, towers come at that time when you're not learning your lessons. There's death, like the death card comes up first. So you're given many opportunities along the way in life to say, hey, here's a little bit of a learning lesson. And if you ignore them for whatever reason, or maybe you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, next time will be different, but you haven't really changed anything, so next time it's not going to be different. If you resist those, then the message comes in loud and clear as a tower. So all that saying is that when that comes through, rather than viewing it as a, oh my gosh, this is terrible, the rest of my life is going to be miserable, look at it from the perspective of, hey, this is an important lesson. I really need to learn it. So, okay, right there in my face, I'm going to learn it. And so then your Ace of Wands, this is going to be a new beginning. So there's excitement about it, there's creativity about it, and a new beginning is coming. So for Aries, look at this. 3 out of the 6 cards that I pulled for you, and this is across, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Across 5 decks, 3 of the cards were about new beginnings. So there's something new that really, really, really wants to come through for you, but you've got to stop resisting the changes. You've got to stop trying to cling to the past and hold on to, positive change. So 6 of Swords is resisting positive. 6 of Swords in reverse is resisting positive change. So Aries, there's some wonderful things coming through for you if you stop resisting the positive changes that the universe is trying to send to you. Nope, that was 3 cards that flipped. Okay, next we are on to our Leo. Leo had High Priestess was one of them. I'm going to pull 2 others, though, because that was a flip card. We have Page of Pentacles, and we have the Devil in reverse. So the High Priestess, this is that divine feminine energy, and like this inner wisdom, higher consciousness. So that's starting to come through. And then the Devil in reverse is breaking free of things that are keeping you shackled. So it's breaking free of those addictions. It's breaking free of those destructive thought patterns, things like that. Your Page of Pentacles is going to be this loyal, consistent energy. So you're giving up, intentionally giving up, things that are causing you to stay looping because you don't want to do that. And that is, it's kind of this sense of let the tower fall. Your inner wisdom is telling you, let the tower fall. I want to turn my back on things that are no longer serving me. I don't want to keep staying in these patterns and cycles of things that are no longer serving me. I want to be able to get these new starts that are coming through, but I can't get these new starts when I'm trying to prop up something that isn't working. If I'm stuck in devil energy, I'm not going to get those new starts. I have to flip that around. I have to break those, I'll call it addictive, low vibe things that are happening. And then I can get this more consistent type of energy. All right. So that was for our Leos. Oh my gosh, cards are just jumping. Okay. And now on to Sag. Goodness, the cards are definitely not cooperating. It could be my dog who's being super loud. All right. Now we are looking at Sagittarius. What cards want to come through? Ten of Swords. And we have the Fool in reverse. So our Ten of Swords energy, this is going to be that sense of just exhaustion and betrayal. And this one in the traditional tarot deck is, the swords are in the back. And then it's also this feeling like you don't want to take that leap, like you don't want to take that next step. So this is going along here with this Tower in reverse. Like you don't want to take the next step. You're afraid of the future. You don't want to take that leap. But it's leaving you feeling exhausted. So what you don't see coming is even if there's a sense of, yeah, I probably do need to make some changes, I don't think you are aware of or maybe appreciating how exhausted and how resistant you've been to making some of these changes. So that's a little, that's, I guess, what's coming through for Sagittarius. And just this deep sense of like exhaustion, and you almost feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels. But the part that you do need to focus on is let this new start happen. Let the Tower happen. Let the new energy come in and be able to send you on a little bit of a better path. There goes the dog again. So that was for our fire signs. Let's move on now to our earth signs and see what messages want to come through for you. All right, so earth signs. This is for our Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Let's see what's coming through. Strength. So you are being called to be strong, and usually strength is kind of self-explanatory. The situation is getting you kind of depleted and probably turned around. Like, what should I be doing? There were two jumper cards there. A fiery climax approaches and surrender to the divine. So those were the two. And again, I mean, this whole message for today is about stop trying. My goodness. Okay. So that surrender to the divine, the whole message here, earth signs, is this idea of let things happen, but have trust and have faith that the divine has your back and there's a reason for it. The jumper card was Winter's End, regeneration, rebirth, positive outcome. And Amethyst was the pulled card, transformation, certainty, and confidence. So with this, these two definitely are going together. Surrender to the divine, and then that certainty and confidence. Surrender to the divine and be confident that this is happening for your highest good. So if you've been unhappy or stressed out about a situation, know that you're not here on this planet to be miserable. That is not the intention. You're here to learn lessons. You're here to grow. Everything in your path is here, whether you like the experience or not. Everything is here to teach you something. And then these two go together. A fiery climax approaches. So looking at the color palette there, the fiery climax is approaching, and there's going to be a positive outcome. So there's going to be this sense of regeneration or rebirth, like something new is coming, but you have to let the old out before the new can come in. All right, so let's take a look here at what card wants to come out for earth signs. Soulmate alchemy, embracing loving presence. So some of it, so there's a sense of loving presence here that you need to embrace. That there's, and actually, I mean, this is the 8 card, and this is the 8 card. So have the strength to be able to allow love to come in and allow things to unfold the way they need to. So if this is a situation it reads that there's a new love coming in, but in order to make room for this new love, make room for this soulmate, you need to let something else go away first. Like, you need to let whatever that tower is happen and be able to kind of let that transformation happen, let the rebirth happen. All right, we are going to pull 2 cards for what you don't see coming for each of the individual signs. And we will start with Taurus. What you don't see coming is you have the Chariot in reverse and you have the Ace of Swords. So there's going to be some sort of a clarity or breakthrough, like some, new project, something that's coming through. The Chariot in reverse is going to have this sense of like lack of direction and a little bit of this lack of drive, sort of like an imbalanced energy. So if this lack of drive and lack of moving things forward could also, I would say, is also probably related to this tower. Like, you've been trying to keep this tower from happening because you don't really know what to do if it falls apart. Whatever the structure is, if it's a job that you hate, you don't know what you're going to do if you don't have that job. So you hate it, and you've been resisting change, and you hate it, but you don't know what you're going to do if you don't have it. And so this is kind of that lack of direction. So you just feel like you're sort of hanging out, like you have this fear of being trapped, but you also don't have I'll call it the courage, insight, strength, whatever, to change that situation. But that's what you're being called to do, is have that strength and have that courage to change, even if you don't know what's coming next, because you're going to have some clarity and some breakthrough as to what's coming next. All right. So next we are on to our Virgo. Let's see what Virgo doesn't see coming. The Moon in reverse, and then we have 8 of Swords. So 8 of Swords is that feeling of being trapped. And that is why you've been working so hard to keep this in place, is because you feel trapped. And, the thing is, like, you're not really as trapped as you think. Like, there's all these swords, but look, the swords are behind her. So yes, there's one that she's still tied to, but most of it's behind her. She just needs to be able to have the strength to say, okay, I'm done. I've decided I'm not doing that part anymore, whatever that case may be. So then with the Moon in reverse, that's a little bit of this sense of like getting some clarity, because the Moon is about lies and deceit. And, some of it is, what are the lies that we're telling ourselves? So, sometimes the lies are coming from within us, like, oh, I can't. And a lot of times the lies are what's keeping you here, because you've told yourself that you can't do something. You've told yourself, oh, I can't, whatever, like, I can't, if it's leave this job, I can't leave this job because I've been here for so long and the company needs me. They would fall apart without me, like whatever those are. The reality is they'll be able to move on. Like, people sometimes overplay how disastrous a situation would be if they remove themselves from it. And some of that, I'll call it like a self-protection. And frankly, it makes you feel more important, right? That, they absolutely need me. They can't do this without me. But the reality is, could they? Probably. So some of the changes that we were talking about, these are full moons, because we do have a lot of sudden insights coming in. So like on the 5th, when Mercury moves into Aquarius, that's about sudden insights. And some of these things are going to start to come into focus and into clarity a little bit more for you. So let's just take one look. But yeah, so that's what we have coming in for our Virgos. Let's take a look at Capricorn. Capricorn, what do you not see coming? We have our Empress in reverse, and we have the Death card. And I do like the Death card in this one, where it looks like it's the salmonella. And this is, something needs to change. you're sitting in this energy of like this blocked creativity. Like you just feel like things aren't really moving. So I think what you don't see coming is like how much this is affecting you. So, you know, the tower is usually, it's a big outside change, big something that's happening in the world around you that's forcing structures to change. Death is an inside thing. It's like, it's a change in your attitude, a change in your belief, a change in your demeanor. And I think what you don't see coming is how much of your creativity is blocked. And then whatever it is that's holding you back, whatever that aha moment is, that gives you that clarity, it'll start to go away and it'll resolve this. So this creative blockages is causing a lot of this angst. So that was the messages for our earth signs. And let's take a look at our last one, is our water signs. Let's see what messages divine has for you. And this is for our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. All right. We have the Hermit. So this is a little bit of that, you know, energy of kind of withdrawing and doing a lot of soul searching, inner reflection, but it also, the Hermit is lighting the way. So this inner work that you're doing is allowing you to kind of lead the way to something new. And, you know, that will help you move into the conclusion of whatever cycle is spinning right now, is looping. All right. So your jumper card was communication is key. That's new moon in Gemini. And believe in the impossible. So this one, it really stood out with these colors, like the coloring in here, matching up with the box, matching up with the background for the Hermit, that's kind of like the backdrop of what it is that this Hermit is doing in terms of reflection. And it's about communication and how are you expressing yourself, expressing your needs, because if you're desperately trying to keep this tower from falling, there's some unmet need or unspoken truth. And so in order to move your situation forwards, it's finding that voice, finding your inner self, and also having the faith and trust to believe in the impossible, that things can happen. So your Gaia card is eternal dance, movement, wheel of life, path of least resistance. So this one, you know, again, the coloring is matching up with that this eternal dance and kind of this path of least resistance is finding what is it. Here, sit. No, I'm almost done. So with this eternal dance, it's, you know, this movement and this wheel of life is not letting yourself get trapped too much in this sense of just like persisting and I've got to keep doing this. I've got to keep doing this. Why? Who says that you have to keep doing it? You only have to keep doing it as long as you tell yourself that you do. So, and with Wheel of Life, that's kind of the whole idea of, you know, Wheel of Fortune, like the things are destined and fated. And so in your soul searching, in your contemplation and reflection, in that Hermit energy of realizing, you know, okay, what is my path of least resistance? Why am I you know, wading through hip deep quicksand when there's a dirt path that's totally fine over there? Why am I doing it? All right, let's pull one of these and then we'll look at our individuals. Ascended Master, truth, self-worth, up-leveling. So once you can sit in that energy of like looking at the Wheel of Life perspective, what am I fated and destined to do? What is the bigger purpose of it? And a lot of that's going to come through your meditation. You know, figure in the middle there is meditating. So a lot of it is that self-reflection and really being able to identify, or really being able to connect with your inner self to see what is it that I truly want, and am I just staying with something because that's what I've always done. And I remember at work we had this expression we used to say, the worst answer you can give when somebody says, why do you do things the way you do it, is, well, that's the way we've always done it. Like, that's a bogus answer, because just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean it's the right way. It doesn't mean it was the wrong way at the time you started it, but it doesn't mean that it still fits now. So, all right, now we're going to take a look at the individual signs. So let's start with Cancer. What you don't see coming. Oh, there's the 2. 7 of Swords in reverse and Queen of Wands in reverse. So our 7 of Swords in reverse, there's a little bit of confession and remorse. So some of it could be either confessing to somebody else, like, hey, this situation isn't working, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a boss, whether it's with, a partner. And, you can show remorse if there was something that was done wrong, but some of it is also, it could be confessing to yourself that, your heart isn't in this or that anymore, or this really doesn't feel like the right place. Your Queen of Wands in reverse, this is a little bit of this, like, overbearing, selfish energy is kind of how it comes across. But lately, this has been resonating more with me as no, I'm pulling my energy back into me. Like, I can't just keep pouring from an empty bucket. I can't keep taking care of everybody else at my own expense. Like, I have to make sure that I'm pulling this energy back into me, which some people see that as being, like, selfish. But at some point, you do have to do that. And it can also be a little bit of this overbearing energy. But again, if it's you saying, no, we're not doing that, like, because that that's not going to work for you, and just taking that stand and saying, no, this isn't the right path. I'm not going to make myself feel uncomfortable or put myself in a position I don't want to be in just to make it more comfortable for you. So that was for our Cancer. Now let's go to Scorpio. What you don't see coming. We have 9 of Swords in reverse and Queen of Cups in reverse. So there is this sense of seeking help. So you've been propping this up for a long time, and you're getting to the point where it's like you can see that you're towards the end of a cycle. And what do you do with that? You get help. So some of the times you need to reach out for help. You can't do it all on your own. And it's a little bit of this, like, neediness and fragility that's coming through as well. But there's also a little bit of, I would say, some strength to that from the perspective of, you can't do it all on your own. So what you don't see coming is, I think you reach that point where you feel like you're so fragile that you need help. You're reaching out for help. It could also be that somebody else acknowledges that and sees it, and they're stepping in to offer you that help that you didn't even realize you needed. So sometimes it's one of those things you don't realize how bad it is until somebody else says, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is terrible. What can I do to help? And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is. So I think that's kind of an element of what you don't see coming, is about that help. So last but not least, we have Pisces. For Pisces, what is it that you don't see coming? 7 of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So our 7 of Pentacles, there's growth and rewards. So I think you're not necessarily seeing those coming, but then there's also this energy of, like, overspending, and maybe some like you're lacking some of the discipline because it comes in unexpectedly. So then it's that, oh, whew, relief is here, and so then you kind of go out and you're overindulging. So if some of these struggles have been around money, for example, if you've been propping up certain situations for financial reasons, maybe you get inheritance, or you get an extra bonus at work that you weren't expecting, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I need this and this and this. You probably don't need it as much as you think you do. So stay a more grounded state, since those two, it seems to be something you don't see coming in. And so you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for the best tomorrow, so to speak. So I hope that today's message has been helpful. And as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. So there will be some more videos posting on the channel this week. And make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when the new videos post. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy on your journey. Until next time.